Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com. Bringing in a tie-in video this week, another wet fly. I'm actually trying to do more wet flies. I know I say that every year. I think I am doing more now this year. I'm definitely fishing them a lot more. As I shoot this video, we're just coming up on the end of the granums here. I haven't got out with this fly on the water yet. I'm tying it to take it out with me. I've gotten into some granums, swinging on the wets. I just want to try something a little bit different, and I know it'll work throughout the year too, not just during the granums. But I'm tying a caddis pupa. This one's called the Nitro Caddis pupa, and just trying something different. I know I have a very similar nymph pattern to this, but this one is intended for me to swing. It has a hackle collar on it, and I want to swing it. Plus, I also want a fly that's going to have a little bit of weight that will help me cast my line a little bit better. If I'm out Euro nymphing and a hatch comes off or something, I want a little bit heavier wet fly to swing in a pinch to get me to cast a little bit further. So my goal here was to tie a wet fly style pattern with a bead to give me a little bit of weight. And that's going to cover it. And listen, anything like this in my area catches fish. We have tons of green rock worms and green caddis patterns, so something like this is just guaranteed to work around my place. Anyways, guys, here you're going to see the picture of the fly and material list to tie it. Okay, here you see the Nitro Caddis pupa in the vise. Really cool looking fly. So let's put the hook in the vise and get into tying it here. For a hook, I'm using a Firehole 315, and Daiichi 1120 would work great here. For a bead, I'm using a 30 millimeter black bead from Firehole. Tungsten bead, of course, so I want it to get down. For thread, I'm using black Semperfli Nanosilk 12-aught. Next thing I'm putting on is some pearl core braid in olive. This is going to be the body of our caddis. And I'm just going to wrap it on right there behind that bead. Oh, if you want, you could add a couple wraps of lead there if you want to make it a little bit heavier. But I want to swing this, so I'm going to just use the bead to be my weight. Then, once I get that tied on, I'm going to cut this off to the length that I want it, which is, I don't know, about that far. About like a ½ inch or so. And then, instead of burning the tail, what I like to do is put some UV glue back here on the tail, on that pearl cord that is outside the tail, and hit it with my light, and that kind of locks it in place. Better than burning. When I burn it, it's just hard to get it nice if I burn it. It oftentimes melts that cord more than I want and stuff, so I prefer hitting it with the little UV glue on the tip, and as you see, it still has lots of movement there. Next thing we're going to use is some SLF pattern blends. This is dark stone, and I'm just going to make a little ball of dubbing here. Get my noodle twisted on there. And just make a nice ball of dubbing that's going to help. I want a little bit thicker than I normally would go to help stand my hackle up. For hackle, I'm just using, this is some Brahma, and I'm just going to pull all this fluff off. I got one ready here, and normally you see me tie in by the tip. On this one, I'm going to tie in by the butt section. Reason being, I want the longer fibers, and I don't want many of them. So I'm going to tie it back at the size of fibers that I want. I'm going to tie it in there and not make as many wraps with it to get up into the longer fibers that I want to use. So I'll put my hackle pliers then on the tip, and I really only need like one good wrap, one and a half good wraps here. And as I'm doing it, I still want to tease my hackle backwards. But there we go. So get a good wrap on there and wrap that hackle off. This isn't pretty, and that's fine because I'm going to twist all these back, get them going the direction I want here. I'm going to cover them up here in a second and brush out the dubbing. So it's not real particular. There you see I got nice hackle wrapped the whole way around. That's what I want to see. Not too much of it and the length I want. Next thing I'm going to add, this is actually mallard feather dyed wood duck. I'm going to take about 5 or 6 strands off of it. Not too many. I don't want to use more than 2 because if I'm going to put them on there, I want it to be slightly noticeable. And what I want to do is I want to stick it back off the, this is what they call the horns. I want them to go just a little bit past my hackle. We're going to tie them on top. Got 2 straggler hackles there, so we're just going to get them tied back. There we go. Trim that off, and I'm going to come in with just a little bit more dubbing. I don't like this back part here. There we go. I'm going to pull that out, and it was going to wrap too tight and wasn't going to be buggy enough for me. So I'm not wrapping this on real tight noodle. I want to be able to brush this out a little bit. There you go. Just make a nice collar there right behind that bead. Then I'm going to whip finish it off. Oops. Got a little fast there, a little too fast. So whip finish that off. And then I'm going to take my dubbing brush and I just want to tease that dubbing out a little bit, make it a little bit more buggier. And get that hackle going there where I want it. There you go, you got a nice looking buggy caddis pupa that'll swing or nymph. Alright, hope you like it. I know it was a lot like my UV caddis, very similar to it, except I added a collar and some horns. But I plan on fishing this one different than I fish my UV caddis. My UV caddis worked really well when I nymphed during the Granum hatch. I caught a lot of flies with it here in the last 2 weeks. Did well with it guiding. Even when the Granum hatch wasn't coming off, I fished a different stream where we don't get a huge Granum hatch, and that was my go-to nymph for a week and a half. Fishing on that stream. It just caught lots of fish for me on my trips. The UV caddis pupa. This one here I want to use to swing because I'm trying more and more to swing. My wife got me a old Fenwick that's just about as old as I am last year for Father's Day, and I had so much fun out on the river fishing with it during the Granum hatch. Hopefully I can get back out before it's over. So have fun tying, guys. That's what it's all about. Experiment with your colors and sizes. And just have fun. I can't say it any other way. If you need any of the materials to tie it, or if you're interested in a guide trip or custom flies, shoot me an email at holsingersflyshop.com or at gmail.com. And any of the materials, please head over to our website at holsingersflyshop.com. I love bringing these videos to you, and I'm thankful for all your comments and support of our channel. Till next week when I bring you another video, I'm Sean Holsinger.